Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Waynesboro Area School District Board of Director meeting for January 26th, 2021. And let's stand for the pledge, those of us here today. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Kuzer, we have at least one on Zoom, so let's do a roll call, please.
Okay. Mrs. Strite?
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Here.
Mrs. Bachtel?
Here.
Dr. Royer?
Here.
Mr. McDonald?
Here.
Mrs. Miles?
Here.
Mr. Wengert?
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Linda?
Mrs. Zimmerman, you're muted.
Okay, there we go.
She's there. And Mrs. Harold?
Here. Okay, the next item is the approval of the agenda. Dr. Klein, I don't believe we have any changes. Do we have any? It's already on there. Okay.
Fine.
It's not changing from the item on the agenda,
No,
right?
it's just what you're part of it, right?
I think we're good on
Okay,
this. I think we're
okay,
good on this.
all right.
Okay.
We'll make
Okay.
sure.
Yes. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes. Any issues with the minutes from our last meeting? If not, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Dr. Klein.
All right. Well, January is School Director Month here in Pennsylvania, and we normally celebrate, as you know, with a dinner and such. And it's this year, just we can't do it at this time, so we hope to reschedule that in the future, that we can pull everybody here together and celebrate this month with you. However, in recognition of all of you, and particularly, we've been through a lot over the last this whole school year, over the summer, with putting the plan together to return to school and everything. And I just feel like you guys have to be recognized in some way for the courage that you had to have to move forward with our return plan. And so in order for us to be successful coming back, which I see it as a success, you guys have been a piece of that success. And we recognize staff throughout the year for being a piece of the puzzle, and that they go above and beyond the call of duty, and they're nominated by their peers and others to be the piece of the puzzle every week. And I feel like at this meeting, I wanted to recognize all of you being direct school board member of the, January is the recognition for school board members in that month, that I would recognize each one of you as being a piece of the puzzle. So I actually have a piece of the puzzle here, which will pin that I will give each one of you. And not everybody has one in the district. It's only one person a week who gets it. So, you're right up there with them. So I want
Thank
to
you.
bring that around. Make
Thank
sure
you.
have it. Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I'll make sure Mrs. Zimmerman gets hers.
Mr. McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It's always one missing piece,
He's the assistant-
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Assistant
I'm the
business
missing
manager.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Assistant business manager.
Very nice.
Did you say you were the piece?
I'm the missing link.
Well, thanks very much.
I have one
Anything
more
else?
thing.
Sure.
One more thing, just to clarify. One, we had three positive cases right now in the district. One at the high school, one at the middle school, and I think the other one's at Hooverville in the district this week. We had none last week all the ones we received counted the week before. And the way the state's matrix is set up, we, because of that 4-day weekend we had, we were able to start our 14-day roll again. So it was kind of nice having 1 week with none. So it was a good thing. And it kind of reflects how the county has been going, dropping some. So the other thing I wanted to make sure that I was going to move forward with, we've been having some trouble where there's been a little bit of misinterpretation of the new CDC and Department of Health recommendations on quarantining. Outside the home quarantines, we've had 14 days. And in the household, we've had it as 24. We've gotten a lot of pushback from parents and staff and others about it, just because what's happening, some doctors are saying, no, it's only 10 days. The out of household contact quarantine is actually 10 days now. And the in-home is the 10 days of the positive person plus 10 days after that. So there's a little misinterpretation of what's going on. So it's actually 20. And what I'd like to do, if the board has if no one has any objection, is change hours. It's not in our plan, I don't believe. I looked. But change from our protocol from 14 and 24 days to 10 and 20. One thing we found is that the in-home positives, whenever we have a student or a staff member that's been exposed at home, within that 10 to 14 days that they were at home, they turned positive. 1 out of every 10 of our positives are people that turned positive within the 10 to 14 days. And that's why we don't want to go with just 10 and 10, because we're afraid we're going to see more positives coming into our building without us knowing it, because of that data that we have. And our solicitor jokes that we have more data than the state does. He's probably right, but we know that going into this. So I guess what I'm asking, is there any objection to us changing that protocol to 10 days for an external or let's say if a child is exposed in school, it would only be 10 days instead of 14. But if a child's at home with a parent who is positive or a sibling, it would be 20. It'd be the 10 and 10. Is there any objection? Okay. All right. Thank you. So we're going to move forward with that. Probably we'll get the word out. We'll work with our head nurse and try to get all that information out to everybody. We may not start it till, I don't know if it'll be exactly tomorrow, maybe Thursday or next Monday, but we'll get it out so everybody knows at a decent time. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we don't have any board comment, or public comment rather, at this point. And I did have something I wanted to just make a statement instead of waiting till the end for board comments when some people may be gone that are tuning in. I'd like to read this now. Recent days have made me think that we're beginning to see some light at the end of this very long tunnel we've been in since last March. I find it so encouraging to see agreement between former President Trump and President Biden, along with new efforts by West Virginia Governor Justice, Maryland Governor Hogan, and even New York Mayor de Blasio. These are all encouraging schools to open once again. I can only assume that they are looking at the data that we have. That is shown, as former CDC Chairman Redfield stated, schools are the safest place for our kids to be. And that brings me to the heart of what I would like to say this evening. Dr. Klein recently put out a letter of appreciation to all of our staff and parents, expressing his gratitude and appreciation for the response to our efforts to keep our kids in school. I cannot match the eloquence of Dr. Klein's comments, but would like to echo his words by sharing the thoughts of your school board as well. We know that some neighboring school boards have had very vocal and antagonistic meetings as they have struggled with what course to take concerning many educational issues. We know that some neighboring community members have been very critical and vocal, and on occasion rude and combative in comments to the board and on social media in other districts. In Waynesboro, we have been fortunate to experience this on a very small scale. We certainly can acknowledge that not everyone has agreed with our plan and how we have implemented it over the past 5 months, but apparently there are not many. We find great satisfaction in the response from the great majority of our families and majority of our staff. We have spoken with many, many parents, many concerned community members, and many staff members who have supported us in our efforts to keep our kids in school. There has been unanimity of purpose between the board and Clayton Avenue administration to keep our kids in school if the data supported it. So far, this has worked very well. We attribute this to two main reasons. First is the common purpose that is shared by the majority of community members and district administration to keep schools open, but also to provide other schooling options to our families not ready for in-person learning. The other huge reason that we have had success is due to our teachers, administration, support staff, and other employees who have been willing to take on the role of frontline workers in serving our kids in a phenomenal way. My experience in education is that many see their job not just as an employment opportunity, but they see it as a vocation. The actions taken over the past several months seem to verify that. Teachers, administration, and staff, for the most part, are in it for the students and not for the money. They don't do it for prestige, and they certainly don't do it just for summers off. All have performed so well in the face of so many obstacles and uncertainties. To echo Dr. Klein, we don't say enough how grateful we are for what has been done, and we do recognize the challenges that have been met head on in continuing to educate our kids under such difficult circumstances. It is with sincere appreciation and admiration that we recognize the amazing contributions by all the staff in the Waynesboro Area School District. We are so grateful to be able to work with a group of people who continue to work for the best interests of all of the children in our district. I don't believe that any other district could better and equal or even equal what you all have done. Thank you so very much. And that is not just me talking, that's your entire school board.
Thank you.
Okay. On to board reports. Anybody have anything to report since our last meeting?
Well, we had to postpone policy and we are meeting Thursday at 1. And then following that, we have discipline meeting. So I don't have any, we haven't met.
Okay.
We're gonna give it a shot.
Just what's coming up.
Yeah.
Others? Is that before our last? Facilities was before our last meeting. Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, all right, then on to business. First action is personnel. Dr. Sternerheim.
Thank you, Mrs. Harrell. I'd like to direct your attention to the information in the board doc. There's several personnel items. First one is the listing of resignation of support staff, transfer of professional staff, appointments of support staff, some salary corrections for long-term professional staff, additional game personnel appointments. There's a listing of individuals that requested leaves. There's an appointment of a new professional staff, an additional appointment of a new professional staff, and then also another addition of professional staff. Recommendation is to approve as listed.
Okay, we are going to make one change in the recommended personnel list, and that is to pull out one approval, and that is a transfer issue that anybody board that's looking at the items, that would be transfer of a kindergarten teacher from Hooverville to an intervention specialist. So the vote will be on everything except that, and then we'll take a separate vote for that. Any other questions or concerns before we start to vote here?
May I interject?
Yes.
If we pull, depending on the nature of that particular vote, it will impact one of the appointments of the professional staff listed.
Okay, so
We would also
have to pull that out then and make that, well, we'll do the vote first on
Okay.
the transfer, and then we'll go to the rest of them.
Thank you.
Okay, that being the case then, do we have a motion to approve the transfer from the Hooverville Elementary kindergarten teacher to intervention specialist.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions within limits since it's a personnel issue on that one?
Is this something that he wanted to do?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please, on this, Ms. Kuzer.
Okay. Mrs. Strite,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
No,
Mrs. Bakedel,
No.
Dr. Royer,
No.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mrs. Miles,
Yes.
Mr. Wenger,
Yes.
Mrs. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mrs. Harold.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. That would preclude then any other changes in the
That is correct.
personnel as listed. We have a motion to approve the rest of the personnel items.
move to approve.
Second.
Any questions or anything else on that? Anybody else? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay. Next item, bus driver, Mr. Holtzman.
Thank you, Ms. Harold. We have one driver for your review, discussion, and requesting approval. This is for the Shalom bus route.
Questions for Mr. Holtzman? Motion to approve.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Next item. And is that you, Dr. Klein? Take that one.
Yeah. we're
Voting
doing
to add the
adjustment.
two.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just add
just
two, yeah.
adding the two positions.
Right. Okay, so everybody understands that this vote is to add, I'm telling them two positions, I guess
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that would be adding Mr. McElwain and Mr. Erickson instead of individual contracts onto Act 93 employees.
Right, you'll be adding the athletic director and director of technology.
Right, and those two have the current position.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a motion first.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Graduation date. I don't know who that is.
Oh, that is mine.
Okay.
The graduation date, what we are, in the past few years, we've been asked to come up with a final date for graduation. Again, this year could be challenging. We don't know what's coming ahead. There are some challenges with it with number of hours to get in, but we're proposing that last Friday, I think of May, is it? I believe, I forget.
Yeah,
the-
I believe it was a conversation that evolved during academic committee.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I do have some information regarding the calendar and for that to happen. So I didn't mean to interrupt Dr. Klein.
No, that's all right. Yep.
I had so basically, in the original calendar, we had identified as June 2nd was going to be the graduation date. And during the course of conversation at academic committee, the recommendation was, can we look at the 28th of May? That would be a Friday. If we would go with the 28th of May, we would have to add 2 more Act 80 days. So we would have to make one of the parent conference days an Act 80 day, and then also change the January 15th in service day and convert that to an Act 80 day to give our seniors 180 days. Now, with that being said, they will have 190 hours or 198 hours, and they need 190 hours. So it is cutting it a little close, but I mean, obviously with options, we can, it could become problematic if we have numerous snow days, if we're not utilizing those in a remote learning day capacity.
But your recommendation is to go with the 28th?
That's the date I think everybody
That's what we,
discussed.
at the
Yeah.
academic committee, that was sort of the idea we tossed around. And so
Okay.
I was just providing the backstory with the hours and that. So we
Okay.
would have to go ahead and apply for those Act 80 days.
Right.
Which Dr. Klein can.
As long as we meet that 990 hours, we'll be okay.
Okay.
I guess the belief was that a Friday was a better option than waiting to
Right.
a
Okay, and this
Wednesday.
is discussing, you don't want us to act. That doesn't say act.
Either way, if you want to discuss it and we make a decision the next time,
Right.
that's fine, you know.
Okay, well, I won't call for a motion yet then. How about discussion on this? Anybody, questions, comments, thoughts?
I think it was kicked around pretty well at academic.
Yes,
I think it was, we just didn't know
Right,
the hours.
right.
but that gives us an extra day if we have 197
Yeah,
hours, right?
yes,
90.
we'll have eight,
So-
like, they'll have 109, sorry, 998 hours, and they need 990
90.
hours.
So there's 8 hours extra
Wish
if
it-
we got messed up in a day,
Yeah, yes,
Correct.
yeah, and so, I mean,
which,
and we'll have
Well-
to apply for the 2 Act 80 days.
Right.
and you
Right.
feel we would get those 2 Act 80 days?
As long as you meet the hours for everyone, you're okay.
Okay.
I don't see any reason not to approve it if they want to
Yeah.
approve the date.
No, well, as long as you have those hours,
Okay.
they'll approve it.
Right.
Yeah.
Then let's do it.
All right,
Mhm.
who wants to make a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Anything else? Anybody wants to
Just,
throw in
just
there?
to clarify, just to show you how easy it is to lose hours, if we would have done a 2-hour delay today, we would have lost a couple hours. That's, you know, so be thankful we did have a whole day today because we didn't lose those hours for the seniors, but that is how close it can get sometimes
Wait,
if
we
you
didn't
have
have
too
a whole
many
day
of those. Yeah, it was all canceled. We ended up doing a full
Oh,
day.
I see. You
Oh,
canceled the
canceled.
day.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Well, we
Got it,
do
got it.
virtual days from now on.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to after the next one. Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
two or three 2-hour delay days would
Good,
make the
yeah,
hours get very
Yeah,
tight.
so I just
Yeah.
kind of wanted to put it in perspective how close that could be if you're.
Okay, nothing else then? All those in favor of accepting that May 28th date, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Fund balance assignment. Mr. Holtzman.
Thank you, ma'am. We're asking and recommending that the board assign the amount listed here on the agenda item for the fund balance for legal issues pertaining to property taxes. The board can simply do this by action. It does not obligate the district to anything, does not change how much we're authorized to spend, nor does it change the budget. And the board can simply unassign it if it so feels to do so at another meeting. So we're just asking for the assignment of those funds.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, Chromebook lease. Whoever that may be.
Mr. Erickson.
Mr. Eric.
This is the Chromebook lease that we discussed at the last board meeting for approval by the board with HP Financial. This is a 3-year dollar buyout lease at $169,912 a year.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Questions?
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay,
I noted that we're buying 2,000, or not buying, but leasing 2,000 Chromebooks for students. And the same year, we are renewing our lease for teachers.
Yes,
What-
that is correct.
Why are we doing that within the same year?
Well, we are at a cycle where we are at the end of our 4-year current lease with our teachers and administrator devices. And we're also at the point where the Chromebooks also need to be replaced. They have reached their auto update cycle or end of life cycle. So unfortunately, both of them have concluded at the same time. And also, it would have been last year going with the previous laptop lease cycle for administrators and teachers. But at the last time and also this time, it's more cost effective to go to that 4th year than to do a 3-year lease. It's actually costing the finance company money to lease it for us for a 4th year. So we actually get more use of those devices and it saves us some money.
So therefore, this is not the norm that we would be renewing both of those contracts in the same year.
Yes, that is correct. Typically, that would not be the norm. But when things like this do happen, there most likely will typically be a Chromebook lease, every year, not nearly this big. But that's kind of the cycle that we're in, and also with COVID-19 happening and moving into that one-to-one this year to continue that, this is what we need to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Okay, we have the motion, I believe. All those in favor of accepting this, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Now on to the teachers.
This is a 4-year fair market value lease with HP Financial for $63,107 a year for 4 years. And that includes all the devices and a 4-year warranty, pickup and delivery for those devices as well for that warranty.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. On to financials. Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. For your approval, typically we've done 1 and 2, if that's all right.
Yes.
And we have basically the budget income expense report here as giving you kind of an update as to where we're at for the year. And any major variances, we've given some explanation there. And then separately, we have the board bills payable, that's cafeteria and the general fund. We give you both the summary and a detail listing, as well as purchase orders. And I do want to call to note that the last purchase order on the list is a generator. This is something that we had talked about with the facilities committee. It was coming through a recommendation. It uses our capital funds. And this would replace the unit at Maui Elementary. So that's kind of a larger item typically you would see, and it's a little one-off, so that's why I wanted to make mention of that one.
Okay, did you want to speak to that at all, Mr. Wangert?
Just FF, Mr. Holtz, I mean, they've done a lot of work to try, find use, but much newer and much less than what's currently in some of our buildings. They have found another one, and it really is, so committee, it's a great idea to go ahead and make this purchase and work getting this generator.
Okay, any questions? Not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, information, Clayton Cabinet.
This time. Yeah.
I think we're coming up on the 100th day.
Yeah.
And so normally the elementaries have like celebrations or projects. And so I believe the middle school under Mr. Taylor and Mrs. Zimmerman's guidance, they're going to be working on a project as well, or some type of community awareness of the 100 days. We also are very fortunate that we have a substitute clerical person that is very good at doing videos. And so our game plan is to have that individual visit the schools and do some filming of our faculty, our staff, our students, in their, in their daily routine, and to celebrate, how far we've come in the 100 days of being here in school in session. So that'll be coming up next week, and hope to debut the video sometime after February 15th.
That's it for the Clayton Cabinet. Okay, board comments. Anyone? Do we have any other public comment, Ms. Kuzer?
We do not.
Okay.
This Dr. Roy, may I, Dr. Roy, is it okay if I go ahead and announce what would be on the next agenda?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. One thing, and I apologize, it just hit me that we had talked about showing some photos and an update for the public of the Alma's Beneficial House, the special needs house that we've been working through and working on over the past year or so, or 2 years, however, it's been a while. and we talked about showing some photos and things, and Dr. Royer sent some of them to me today, and I had a couple from that I had. So we'll do a little presentation next time
Okay.
and to show the progress on it, so you can see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank
there's
you, Dr. Klein.
there's nothing else. We will be going to executive session and not returning. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Whoa.
meeting adjourned. Wow.